Okay, hello everybody. I just spent 1 hour ranking all of the starter items, and I'm gonna give you a TLDR on this because it took way too long, and well, you don't want to watch 1.5 hours of footage. Believe me. Let's just make this very short. First of all, this is pure starter item, right? So we have the starter items: Cull, Dark Seal, Doran's Blade. I'm actually gonna put myself on the right side so you can see, even though it's a bit weird. Anyways, we have Cull, Dark Seal, Doran's Blade, Doran's Ring, Doran's Shield, Tear, and Longsword. This is purely for starter items, so the strength is measured on how you're going to do in laning phase. First of all, let's look at the item efficiency, which is the most important part. Here we add together what the item gives me from stats, which is 245 gold in this case for my 7 AD, and 250 gold roundabout for the 3 HP on hit I get, which gives me a total gold value of my item of 495. I pay 450 for 495 worth of stats, which gives me a stat ratio of 1 to 1. So let's go through these. Like, this is 0 stacks, by the way. 0 stacks Dark Seal, we have 1.24 gold ratio, which means we get 25% more stats from our gold than we would just get from normal items. For Doran's Blade, it's nearly 1.8 times the efficiency, which means you nearly get double your stats, double the value of stats you pay for your money. Which theoretically means if you buy Longsword, you get one, like if you go Longsword item at the start, and you go Doran's Blade, you literally get double of the Longsword worth of stats. Like, you're double as strong. Like, you just bought 2 Longswords basically. It also gives you a total gold value of 804 gold, which means you're gonna lose over 2 kills if you sell this item. So before you sell this item, be sure it's worth it. As soon as you sell this item, you're literally throwing away 2 kills worth of gold in stats. After that, we have Doran's Ring, which gives you exactly 1.5 times your stat gold ratio without counting the passive, which gives you a little bit more. Also a very good item. Then Doran's Shield, which gives you basically the same, but it has an insanely strong passive, and you buy Doran's Shield for the passive. You should never forget that. Doran's Shield is, with Doran's Blade, the strongest starter item in the game. Then we have Tear, which nowadays is really bad. It gives you a negligible amount of stuff. And Longsword, which is just a Longsword. So what you should know is that Dark Seal goes up to 3.75 or nearly 4, or more, maybe even 4, more than 4 times the gold that you paid for once you get to 10 stacks. And already at 1 stack it gives you 1.5 times the money that you paid for. But as a pure starter item, it is a very risky item. Now I put everything in these, you know what, actually, I put all the stats into these boxes so that I could rate them on, well, their efficiency, their cost, their risk, their reward or scaling, their strength in general, which is the most important stat obviously, and then how much fun they are actually to play. And we came up with this. I'm gonna go through it. I'm gonna explain. So this, for example, is false. This should be a 6, or at least a 5. And then we multiplied it by this to get the scores, but more to that later. So first of all, we have an efficiency of 6 because it gives you 1.1 gold ratio, a cost of 7. In this case, cost doesn't matter as much. Cost is more for the items that cost more, which I'm gonna go through later. For one example would be Rabadon's versus Rabadon's would be 0. Let's say something like a rocket belt would be 10 in the cost value, because it only costs 2.5k gold. Risk is -5. In this case we have -10 to +10 on rating, because the risk is something that you should be able to get punished for, which should be really strongly shown in the result. Then we have the reward scaling. Cull gives you an incredible scaling. You should really not sleep on Cull. Not really as a starter item, but more as a first base item, which I'm going to go over in the next video. Then we have the strength 6.5. In general, already a strong item if you just buy it, but it can scale, and it is quite fun because you get like the gold every time you kill a minion, and it feels quite good for the on-hit HP. Dark Seal, really efficient in general, 1.24 at the start. You can scale incredibly well, and this gives you the highest efficiency of any item in the game. Actually, that's not a joke. It gives you the highest efficiency of any item in the game you could ever get once you get 10 stacks. Even higher than Mage Arts, by the way, a lot higher actually. With 25 stacks, like a lot higher than Mage Arts with 20. It actually goes a lot higher than Mage Arts with 25 stacks. Then the cost, it costs 350, which is the cheapest item you can buy for good stats. The only thing that one can buy, which nobody wants, is Glowing Mode, which is a useless item, and nobody likes it. Then we have a risk of 0. This is not minus, this is not plus. We just get, it's just risky in general. It's not too unrisky or too rewarding, so it's just a 0. Scaling or reward is 10. If you actually snowball on this item, again, it is absolutely insane. If you get through with buying this as a starter item, you have absolutely won the lottery. Strength is a 7 because it gives you an insane amount of value even without having stacks, and obviously if it gets stacks it is insane. And fun, it is very fun to play with, but as a starter item it is not 100% fun. Also, you don't really notice it. It also gives you a lot of, to the strength, it gives you combat stats, which you really want to have. No. Okay, to the next one. Doran's Blade. Doran's Blade is the best item, the best starter item in the game. Only maybe with Doran's Shield together. It gives you an efficiency of 10, 1.79 base, which is absolutely incredible. You're literally throwing away two kills worth of gold once you sell this item later into the game, just because of the insane 804 gold worth of stats you get. The cost is a 7 cost because it's 450. Risk is 0 risk, so you get a 10 out of 10 from that. A reward of 5 because it scales pretty nicely into the late game, and once you sell it, it doesn't feel too good, so like keeping it for a long time is actually viable. The strength, it is absolutely insanely strong, and it is very fun to play with just because of the pure amount of strength you get. Also, it gives you nice skills, stats that feel good together, so you like it a lot. Doran's Ring is basically exactly the same, apart from just being a tiny bit worse in general. Then we have Doran's Shield, efficiency 5 actually. I'm not gonna redo this, but it's just gonna be 80 actually, so we can actually do this. It's not because of pure stats, but because of the passive, and then we can put a 82 here, which would be already a lot better. So efficiency 6. It's not very efficient with just the stats. It costs normal 450 for a starter item. Risk, no risk at all. It's the least risky item in the game. Scaling, this doesn't scale as good as Doran's Ring or Doran's Blade because the stats don't scale really well, while these stats you really want to keep. The Doran's Shield stats aren't really too nice into the mid to late game, so selling this doesn't feel too bad. Even earlier. Strength, it is absolutely insanely strong with the passive, and fun, it is very fun to play with. You're not getting the aggressive value, which is why I'm just putting 9.5, but you're feeling really strong. It feels very good to actually buy this item. Then we have Tear, which is the worst in this comparison. I just took this because theoretically we can. Nobody really goes Tear anymore as a starter, and just taking Longsword because of Zed and Talon players maybe. These are just really bad in general. So efficiency 5, not very efficient at the start. It gets pretty efficient later, but mana is not a stat that you want to really be efficient at. If you would get AP for it, would be very nice. Also the Archangel isn't in the best of spots right now. It's getting above this patch for 100 less gold, which is going to be nice, but not really insanely good. It's just going to make it decent, so this doesn't really change. Cost, It costs, well, 400, which I take as an 8.5. Risk, it is an extremely risky item. You get no stats, no combat stats at all, which is why it's a -10. Then we have the scaling or reward of 8. It actually scales quite good, which is the positive side of it, obviously. The strength is 2. It just gives you no combat stats. It gives you a little bit of sustained mana, which is why it's getting 2. And fun is 0 because, well, you're just feeling so weak at the start. It's crazy. And longsword, this is just a very basic item. I'm not gonna go through this, it's just a longsword. If you're a Zed and you think that the landing phase is gonna be decent, you can definitely go with this item. Then this is how we get our stats, our score. We multiply efficiency by 2, cost by 1, risk by 2, scaling and reward by 2, strength by 3, and fun by 1. So let's, for the risk, for example, if we have minus here, we're going to scale the minus by 2, so this is -20, and then we're just going to add up all the numbers, which gives us a number of, which gives us the score for Cull 50, Darksteel 74.5, Doran's Blade 97, Doran's Ring 87.5, Doran's Shield 82, Tier 18.5, and Longsword 41, which gives us a ranking of Doran's Blade, Doran's Shield, Doran's Ring, Darksteel, Cull, Longsword, and Tier. Obviously, for those who are very smart of you, you will have noticed that these are not placed 2 and 3, but rather the other way around. But indeed, the Doran's Shield is a lot stronger than the Doran's Ring in the ranking in general, and even though the number is lower than this, Doran's Shield is definitely the better item. So I'm definitely not going to put them in the wrong ranking only because of the score. And you should know that, well, this is what I'm telling you to get. This is what my ranking of the items would be. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.